Hi, welcome to
Joe's World of Random.
Where did that voice come from? This is my take on Carrie Fletcher's video Read Fewer Books, so let's get to it. So the first book I am talking to you guys about is The Northern Lights by Philip Pullman. I read this book when I was about 14 and it's probably one of the few books I actually really liked when I was about 14, and it kept me tying over for the Harry Potter books. So this story is also being made into a film. Only this book is being made into a film. It's known as Golden Compass. And this follows Lyra and her adventure to save her friend Roger, who's after being kidnapped. And it's a pretty good read. And yeah, definitely recommend this book to be read. The second book I'm going to talk to you about is this book. This is Goodnight Mister Tom. This book was read when I was 13, 14. I had to for school. And this is set in World War II. And this is about a young William Beach, an evacuee from London, who is a small, timid, abused boy, and he goes to live with this guy in the front, Mr. Tom, and he just gains a really good friendship. And Tom is a grumpy old man and doesn't really want him, but they form a bond, and it's just a really good read, and definitely worth a read if you're into a good, heartwarming story. So that's Goodnight Mr. Tom. Book number 3 is my geek book. I actually read this book twice. First time I had to read it I was in college, so it's not really for a young audience. It's very much a geek book, and it's based on computing. So this book is called Cuckoo's Egg, and it's by Cliff Stoll. And this book is all about computer hacking and how a computer system got hacked, and how Cliff Stoll went about and finding out about who's hacking into their account system and tracing that hacker all the way across Europe. And if you are a computer geek like me, you should read this book. The third book I am going to recommend that you guys read is Rollin Thunder, Hear My Cry. I read this book when I was about 13, and it was on a school list of books, but we didn't actually read it. But I went off and bought it and read it, and I think I really actually liked it. It's follows the story of Eragon growing up in Mississippi in the 1930s, and it's just basically about the racism that they went through and all the work they had to do and so on and so forth. It's a really good read, and I would recommend reading this book. The next book I am recommending you guys is Eragon. Again, this book's been made into a film, and the film has nothing compared to this book. Really good read. This book follows Eragon after finding the dragon egg and being branded the last of the dragon riders. And it's just a really good read, and I would recommend anyone to read this book. Even if you've seen this film and you compare the book to the film, the book is 10 times better. One of the few adult books I have read in the last while, and this book is done by Trudi Canavan, and this is the Dark Magician Gullet, and this is the Dark Magician trilogy. This is book number 1 in the trilogy, and this follows the main character, whose name is Sonia. Sonia throws a stone, hits one it up, but there's magic behind it, and she's born magical in a non-magical family, and she's taken into the gullet, and follows her story from there. Really good read. This one is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. This is the book number 1 in the Percy Jackson series. There is, after this one, there's more and more. The age rating on this is 9+. Again, made into the film. Book is so much better than the film. Again, the next book I'm going to recommend people read is actually a continuation of the Percy Jackson series, and this is the Heroes of Olympus. This is the first one. This is the Lost Hero, new series of the Percy Jackson, and you're actually introduced to some new characters and the other Half-Blood camp for the Roman demigods. The next book I recommend is Divergent. This is written by Roth. Roth, whatever I pronounce that, is set in kind of in the future. It's very futuristic. This follows 16-year-old Trish and her brother, I think, and other characters in a fight against democracy and so on and so forth, and it's really, really good, and yeah, definitely worth a read. So this is my read fewer books video, and I hope you look into some of these books that I have recommended. I definitely recommend the Percy Jackson series, the Heroes of Olympus as well. I also recommend the Hunger Games series to anyone, and I definitely recommend the Divergent book and Insurgate to anyone who wants to read them. Just enjoy, go read. Yeah, go read. Get off YouTube and go read. Joe told you. Adios, amigos. I read this book when I was about 14, and this is a long time ago. Whoa. Actually, I could have been older. Was I older? I think I was older.